Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Creatives of Windsor Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Shirdown, and today I'm sitting down with local author K.G Miceli. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me here.
That's your water, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
If you need it. So I guess what I want to start with is, when did you start writing?
So I've obviously been writing my whole life, ever since I was a child and I was able to. I mean, I've been writing stories. My first book was published in 2020. That was my apocalyptic thriller. It's called Into the Nothing. So I kind of started from there, released a couple books on poetry, a children's chapter book, and it wasn't until my psychological thriller, actually, I'm Still Here, this one here, that one won the International Impact Book Awards 2024. So that was when I kind of started to get more noticed, I guess, locally and even internationally. From there was when I I started on the Haunted Tales series. So Tales of Texas Road, as many people have heard of, followed by Tales of Sandwich Town. And currently I do have a few more projects I'm working on as well.
Tales of Texas Road, that came out in 2024, right?
The very end of it, like literally 2 days before January 1st.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you said this one came out in 2023.
23. I want to say it was 23. It might have been 24. I'd have to double check that.
I was looking up a bunch of your books and checking things out. Is this the one that has multiple stories in it, or is it just one story?
No, so that's just one story. That's
Okay.
my full length, my only full length novel. I write mostly novellas and shorter stories, but that's my one full length.
Okay. What do you always that's a lot of books for a short amount of time. Are you working on more than one at a time, or do you always just do one start to finish?
It depends.
Okay.
So depending on the type of book, if I'm writing short stories or something short, I'm able to kind of start multiple projects at once. But I find if I'm really trying to focus on getting something done, or if it's a longer book, I usually just focus on the one thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, maybe when you're starting to get going, you
right.
bounce around.
Right.
But then when it gets serious, it's
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have how do you go about do you have editors whenever it's done to look it over?
I do all of that myself,
Okay.
actually. Yeah. Self-publish, self-edit. I even do most of the artwork, and the photos are my own photography as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I pretty much do all of it myself. I did have one person who designed two of my covers. Actually this one was designed by Gloria's Showcase Room.
Okay.
And then she also designed one of my covers for one of my poetry books as well.
Is she local as well?
Yes.
Cool. That's sweet. So you're doing everything yourself. Fun. I've put out a couple photo books and I've done everything myself too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So how many times would you say, this book here, how many times have you read it? Do you think? When you're editing and stuff like that?
When I was editing, I mean, at least 10 times, I would say, because I was very meticulous with that one. Mm-hmm. Shorter stories, in my opinion, are so much easier to edit because you only have to read and focus on that one little story, and then it's you can stop, and it's easier to get back into because they're shorter segments, right?
Yeah, for sure. When you print them, do you do a certain number all at once, and then do you do second editions and stuff like that?
I haven't released any second editions yet, but it is something I've looked into. There's one specifically I want to get with the spray painted edges on the side. So I've definitely looked into it. It is something that will be happening, but I haven't fully dived into that yet.
So since you're self-publishing and everything, that means you're finding the place to get them printed. You're paying for it all, everything like that.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Where do you have? I know that they're all on Amazon, right?
Yes.
And then you just sell that from yourself.
Yes.
Through an Amazon seller account?
You can buy them through Amazon. I also do a lot of local shows. I travel around and host book signings and go to markets and things like that. There's also a company called Love Local, which I don't know if you've heard of them. They basically take handmade goods from locals, and they offer free delivery on those products. So if you were to order one of my books through there, they'll deliver it right to your door, free delivery.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're new, up and coming. I believe they're out of Chatham area, but they do service Windsor as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check them out. That sounds awesome. My next question was, when you're selling the books, you do Amazon, you do obviously at the shows and stuff like that. Do you have them in the local bookstores around town?
Yes. So Storyteller's bookstore on Ottawa Street. She's got copies of all of them there. River Bookshop has most of my books, definitely the Haunted Tales. Indigo, both at St. Clair Shores and Windsor, Devonshire Mall.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much like Biblioasis has them as well. So most of the local stores do.
Nice. I've had my photo books at pretty much all those places too, except for River Bookshop. All the local ones are so great. They're great to work with, and
absolutely.
Indigo's nice to have it in Indigo, but the
royalties. Let's face it.
Yeah, they do take too much. But it is like you kind of have to have it there just to,
Exactly.
Have you done their like the book signing with the table and everything there?
Yes, yeah, I've done that twice at Windsor, once at St. Clair, and I actually have one scheduled at Indigo North London that's in March. I think the 23rd, towards the end of March.
Nice.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. When you do local shows, like, are you doing things that are more book specific, or just like any like art kind of show festival?
Yeah, I'll go to like art festivals or even sometimes like markets. Like the next one that I'm going to early next month is the Women's Day Market in LaSalle.
Yep.
So I do like random little things like that. I tend to mostly focus on the things that are like book related, or if they relate specifically to what I'm doing. So like, for example, when they had the Nightmare in Sandwich Town event going on, there was the Into the Void Market. They did it was like haunted and like creepy things that people were selling. So, I mean, if it's relevant, obviously I'm going to try to get in there, especially with that being in Sandwich Town. That was perfect.
For sure. Is October a big month for you?
Oh my God, I didn't stop. Like, I didn't have a break. I don't think I had a day to myself this past October even, and it went right into November, and then even before. There was no break.
Yeah, and then September I'm sure would bleed in, and then it's Christmas time, so I'm sure you're busy with that too.
Exactly.
So I'm sure for most of the fall you're more selling than writing.
Yeah. I tend to focus a lot on the writing aspect throughout like December and then throughout the cold months, because like I don't like to go outside when it's cold. Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes I'll book some things, but I try to do most of that in the spring and the summer. Yeah,
and people don't like to spend money and go out and buy things in the winter anyway.
Exactly.
So it's a good time to write.
Yeah.
Where do you do your writing? Do you just do it at home?
For the most part, yeah. Like I have my own little loft area that I kind of built for writing, It's somewhere that's more quiet. Like I have 3 kids running around, so I mean somewhere quiet I can go.
What do you write on? Like, do you use a computer?
My laptop, yeah.
Yeah, if the faster you can type, like the quicker you don't lose your thoughts, right?
Right.
I can see that. Anytime I'm writing like anything down, like ideas or anything like that, like I like to type it out, because I feel like if I do it with a pencil, I forget by the time I get to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do carry a notebook with me sometimes too. So like if I'm doing interviews for like the Haunted Tales stories, I'll bring my notebook with me, and I usually write everything down. Either that or it's something that's recorded and then kind of like processed into it later.
Yeah. Do you have all of your books on like Goodreads and things like that?
Yes.
What's the other one called? Fable? Is that what it's called?
There's one called Fable, yeah. I think my first book, Into the Nothing, is on there.
Okay.
But I don't remember how I got it on there, to be honest with you. So the other ones aren't there yet.
What do Goodreads? I was looking, like, you have pretty good reviews for Goodreads because they are strict on there.
Yeah. And
people are vicious.
You know what's funny is the people who don't even read your book, and then you'll look and you can tell by the review that they didn't read it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, or the people who they'll say it's not my genre, so they rate it like a 1 star, but it's like, that's what the book is. If it's not your genre, why'd you read it? Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't mean it's bad. I don't technically, like, I don't usually read romance books, but I'm not going to turn around and rate someone a 1 star because it's romance. Like, if I read it, like, you got to rate it based on what it is.
Yeah, you can't rate it bad because of the genre it is.
Right.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But yeah, Goodreads, like, oh my God, that's probably like the hardest review system of like anything anywhere.
Yeah.
And I never read them because everybody writes the reviews like they think they're an author.
Yeah.
And it's aggravating to read. But when I'm picking a new book, I do use Goodreads to like look at the stars.
Yeah.
Just to like, you don't want to do anything that's like too low.
Yeah.
I'm always nice with my ratings though. I'm always like a 4 or 5 star.
Well, see, good on you though. A lot of people aren't like that.
Yeah. I think I've given one book a 2 and that was it.
It must not have been a very good book then. I see like some people, they look for a reason to go on and just, I don't know, complain about things. Like I find that's sometimes what people do.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite authors is Kristen Hanna, if you've heard of her.
I have not.
She writes like historical fiction.
Okay.
Kind of romances, but not really, mostly just like historical fiction books. She's pretty big. And she, every time she reads, like she reads and she writes all the books on Goodreads, like other people's, and she always gives everybody a 5-star. But she's an author herself, so that's why.
Yeah, like I could understand. I would probably never rate another author like under a 4-star. Honestly, if I think it's that bad, I'm just not going to rate it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I can see that. What kind of books do you like to read?
Psychological thrillers, horrors. I grew up on like Stephen King. I read a lot of Ruth Ware, if you've read any of her. They're like psychological mysteries.
Okay.
That style of book. I want to read the Frida McFadden books, the ones that everyone's raving about right now, but I haven't gotten a chance to get into them. But that's one that I'm looking to get into.
I've read like 4 or 5 of hers. I just started reading like thrillers and horrors this year. My wife's a huge reader. She reads like 100 books a year. I read like 15. But I started reading some thrillers this year. Frida's books are nice because they literally take like 2 days to read.
Yeah.
So just,
okay. Well, that's good. That's awesome.
Like even if you don't like it, it's gonna be done really fast.
Well, that's cool.
I've liked all hers though. They've been good. I read another one called "That's Not My Name" this year, which was a thriller. It was really good. I forget. It was by Megan Lally. She's not very famous, and hers was good. And I read The Troop, which is more probably like towards like a Stephen King style.
Okay.
Because it's a male author, and just like the way it's written, it's not. I don't know. Anyway, those are like.
I'll have to add those to my list to look into for sure.
Yeah. I'll follow you on Goodreads.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Do you read a lot?
I used to read a lot more, but now with the writing, it's like the problem is I'll open a book and then I'm like, I should be writing right now. And then I put it away and then I get back into that's where the problem is. So I'll usually read like chapter to chapter and like, it's a lot more spaced apart than it used to be.
Yeah, I feel that from a photography perspective. I have tons of photo books and I always want to go through and study them and just like, look at other people's pictures. But every time I sit down to do it, I'm like, I should probably be editing and doing my own work right now.
Right.
Yeah. So I always feel like I only do it like in the evenings and then I'm like super tired or something like that when I have like time to look through a photo book, I guess, for inspiration. Mm-hmm. But I know exactly where you're coming from I guess a different perspective. But self-publishing is great. Do you ever want to like get in contact with a publisher one day?
The one thing about them is they're very meticulous, so they will only choose like certain work, and then they nitpick your covers, they nitpick your titles, like they kind of take control of everything. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I'm not interested in. Like there was a while where I was, considering doing that, but I mean, with how my books are going right now, I don't feel like it's necessary. Like I feel like I could get there with what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah, if things are working out, which it seems like they are, obviously, so you might as well just keep doing what you're doing. And then you can do whatever you want. Yeah,
and I don't know if you've heard, I'm working right now on the 3rd book in the Haunted Tales series. It's called Tales of the Screaming Tunnel. So that one's in Niagara Falls, which I'm currently looking for submissions. So, I mean, if anyone out there has a story, definitely you can contact me on Facebook, Instagram, or anything like that.
Yeah, let's jump into that series. So the Texas Road one was first, right?
Yes.
And you're from Amherstburg too, or no?
I grew up in Comber.
Okay.
And partially Windsor. So like kind of, I'm just around Essex County.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that book, so it consists of, so how does it work? Did you interview people and then write?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So all the writing is done by me. That's what a lot of people weren't sure of. I wasn't like getting stories written by people to put them in there. Like it would basically be like how me and you are talking right now. I would ask them, okay, what did you experience? And then basically I'd just write it out. And, from there I would turn it more into like, add like that detail and the spook factor, but like without changing anything that they had said. And if I needed to, I would just ask them more questions to be able to get that detail.
Gotcha.
And either that or some of the really short stories in there, they were literally paragraphs like this big sent to me on Facebook that was like, hey, this is what I experienced. And then I had to take this and turn it into at least a full page. That's why some of the stories are like super short in the book. Those would have been the ones that had less detail.
How many stories are in there total, do you think?
This one has 38 stories in it.
Okay.
Sandwich Town has a little bit less. I want to say there's about 23 stories in that book, but I'm not positive. The Screaming Tunnel's looking like it's going to be like Texas Road. I think I've got around 20 already.
Are you finding it's harder to write one about a place you're not from versus these two, or no?
The only thing that was harder was really getting the word out initially. But gotcha. Once I was able to like talk to people in like their groups and I ran like a Facebook ad or two, And then, I had radio stations reach out to me. So I was already on some radio stations, some news articles and stuff like that out that way. So I find that helped kind of draw people in. Like they would see it in the news or hear about it, on the radio. And then they're like, hey, I have a story.
Yeah.
That's really one of the best ways to get it out there is really radio and just social media presence.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can see that. How long did it take you to write the Texas Road book, the first one?
That book, I think it was about 4 months.
Oh, wow. That's really fast.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
And you got all those interviews done in that time and wrote it all. That's crazy.
Yeah. Honestly, when I was working on that book, I was doing nothing but that. Like I work a 9-to-5 job. I go to work. I would come home and literally be sitting on my computer all night till like midnight. And this was every night for like 4 months to the point where like I didn't see my kids. I wasn't doing anything. Tales of Sandwich Town was a little bit different. That one I gave myself more time on. So that one was started I want to say it was like a month after Texas Road came out, and it wasn't released until about 6 or 8 months later.
This book here, is it only available in hardcover or?
No. So that's actually my only hardcover copy. That's my copy. Like you can order hardcover on Amazon, but yeah, most of them are softbacks.
Gotcha. You do that for all your books pretty much?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. How has Texas Road been, I guess, received from your point of view? Like, have you...
Like, sale-wise, do you mean? Or?
No, more so like people's... like, I said that, like, Goodreads, it had good reviews on there, but how do you think it's been received from people, like, in their opinion of it? Not so much sales, even.
I've had a lot of people tell me that they loved it. Obviously, as the author myself, I'm going to nitpick it. It's like when you paint something and then you see something that's off and you're like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But then everyone else is like, no, it's beautiful. That's kind of like the vibe that I get from this book. I mean, I've had some people who are like, it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. I've had a little bit of criticism towards it, but mostly I've only heard good things.
I think if you get to a point, especially with like local work where you're starting to get criticism, that means it's doing well.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, you know what, and I only ever had one person that I can actually remember that had given me a hard time about that book, and it was someone, I was at the Comber Fair selling books, and someone walked by, and she's like, she said, oh, I read that book, and I'm like, oh, did you like it? And she's like, I was very disappointed in it, and then she walked away, and I was like, whoa.
Okay, at least she read it.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. She read it. She probably bought it too. Perfect. Yeah. This book here, what is this one called again?
I'm Still Here.
I'm Still Here. What is the general, what is that book about without kind of giving it away?
Okay, so I don't really have like the synopsis down pat yet, but basically it's about a girl who's lived in the city her entire life. Her mom decides to move her and her sister out to the county. On the way out there, they get into a pretty bad car accident. She wakes up, and then from there she's seeing, these weird things, hearing weird voices, stuff like that. They get to the new house, and that's where it's like just these entities that are like haunting her and stuff. It's a very psychological, so I've been told by a lot of people who read it that they really like the end. Like there's so many twists at the end that it is absolutely not what you think is going to happen.
How do you come up with all those things? Like, where do you find your inspiration for these books? Is it from other books? Is it from movies?
So each one kind of tells a different story. So these ones specifically, I'll talk about. So Texas Road, where I got the idea for Texas Road from was, obviously I had heard stories about it growing up. Family members and friends had been there. I decided one day I was going to go there and just check it out. So I was about 20 years old, maybe 19, the first time I went there, and some really weird stuff happened.
Like what? Yeah, like what are some of the stories, without giving the book away too much? Can you tell like one story or your experience?
Okay, I'll give you mine. Okay. Although everyone's going to think I'm crazy, and I've told
Is yours in the book or no?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So I went there the first time with my fiance, his cousin, and then 2 of my girlfriends. And we were just like, okay, let's park at the cemetery. We're going to just walk through and then come back. It was literally like midnight and there was nothing else to do, right? So we parked the car near the cemetery and I left the door unlocked. And I even voiced this out loud. I'm like, I'm not going to lock the car because if something chases us out, I'm not going to be fumbling with the key to get back in. Like, we're just going to hop in, right? So we go in. Before this, my fiance, I distinctly remember him taking my lanyard of keys and putting them around his neck. Now, it had like a big jumble of keys on it too. So he puts it around his neck. We walk through. At first, his cousin, he's throwing like rocks out into the bushes. And we're freaking out at first, like me and the two girls in the back, because we didn't know what it was. We thought there was something in the trees until someone found out it was him. So we're like, okay, you need to stop doing that, because if something actually happens, like, we're not going to know. We're just going to think it's you. So he agreed. He stops. And then literally like seconds after he stopped throwing them, these stones start throwing back, like pegging us in the leg, landing on the ground in front of us, like just these stones coming from, there's nothing there.
Okay.
And yeah, so that was a little bit weird. So we're like, okay. At that point, we were a little bit weirded out, but we weren't like ready to stop. It wasn't until we started hearing like the footsteps coming towards us from in the trees.
Okay.
Yeah, so at that point, we run out. We get back to the car. I go to unlock it, and the car's locked. Or I go to open the door, and the car's locked. So I look at my fiance. I'm like, can you unlock it? I don't have the keys. I'm like, and then we're arguing. He's like, no, you had the keys. I'm like, no, I didn't. So we're arguing. We kind of turn around. We look at the trail. We're like, now we got to go back in there because someone obviously dropped them or something like that.
Yeah.
So, we decide, instead of it being like, any horror movie where we split up and have people wait at the car, we all just go back in.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, and we get past the spot where we had turned around and come back. So we had not even walked this far the first time. Okay. And we find the lanyard of keys hanging on this thin little tree branch about eye level, just like into the trail. Like they're just hanging there, almost like the tree's like, here you go, you can have them back.
No way.
And yeah, and even I mean, everyone there was like, you could ask anyone, like it was insane.
Wow.
And yeah, so at that point, I mean, that was weird. So we grabbed the keys and we kind of ran back to the car and we were like, okay, let's get out of here. Of course, the car wouldn't start at first, which my car never had problems before that, but gave it like 3 or 4 tries and it started up. But
wow. That's cool. I went there as a teenager too, like to check it all out. I didn't really have anything too crazy happen, but the story I remember the most was the school bus story. Is that in your book?
No.
Okay.
So I've heard that story, but honestly, I don't know if that is even factual. I don't think that's a real story. I feel like that was twisted from somewhere else.
Okay.
It could be, but I mean, from what I heard, a lot of the younger generation was talking about the school bus thing. It wasn't like, if you were to ask like our parents or grandparents or people who grew up in the area, they probably would have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so it's like a newer thing.
Yeah, like I always heard about the sports car that went off the side of the bridge, or like these cars that ended up in the ditch, or the headless horseman, the woman in white. Like those were the stories that I grew up hearing. And of course, like people having car trouble and just the weird fog and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know where, like if anyone knows where the school bus story is, or like what is the story that you know of?
There was like a school bus crash, and then there's like a bunch of like the kids are there, and they make like a scratching sound when you walk through, or there's like a bunch of like ghost kids and they chase you or whatever. That was kind of the gist I remember.
What's weird about that, why I'm thinking it got mixed up, was because I can't remember where it was, but there's another location somewhere near like London or Toronto where that has that exact same story that you're talking about.
Okay.
So I started thinking after, maybe somewhere along the line these stories got like intertwined or mixed, or they thought it was there. But I mean, if you look at any of the older stories, I don't think that was ever a thing until more recently.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that makes sense. I totally get that. No, that's really cool. Are you into like, okay, so you read thriller books and psychological thrillers. What about movies? Are you into a lot of horror movies too?
Yes, absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
what? Like what are some of your favorite movies?
That's all I watch.
Okay.
Slashers, Evil Dead Rise was probably one of my favorite movies, but I mean, that's getting into more of the gory stuff. I don't really write gore, but I'll watch it.
I'm not a big horror movie guy, but I watched one that my buddy who's really into it recommended this Halloween. I can't remember the name. I'll Google it in a minute, but essentially, I don't know if you saw it. It's new. There was this girl and she's blind, and her dad dies, and her teenage brother go like live with this lady.
Yes, I watched that. I saw that in theaters. I can't remember the name of it either, though. I saw that, and she was like the old lady.
Dead
was
daughters in the thing.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
That was a messed up movie.
It was. I wasn't expecting it to end the way it did. Like I can't really remember all of it because it was a big like twist at the end, but it wasn't going
like,
where I
chewing
expected.
on the knife.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's an Evil Dead too.
Okay. Yeah, that was nuts. I was like, oh my gosh. I thought I watched another one this Halloween too, actually. I might have watched 2, but that's the one that stood out because that was freaking crazy.
That was a pretty crazy movie for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, it was good. I liked it. I can't remember what it was called though. Do you like the more thrillers, like the not gory stuff like that too?
Yeah, those are more my favorites.
Okay.
Like, I mean, like I said, I'll watch gore, but it's not, I'm more into like the creepy aspect, like The Conjuring or like
Paranormal stuff?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those are more of like my favorite. That's my vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the more like killer ones than
Like Scream and Jason.
yeah, like that, like
Okay.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Or like Texas the Chainsaw ones.
Yeah.
Ones like that more so than I guess paranormal ones.
Okay.
Weapons was another one we saw at the show this year.
Oh, I watched that one.
Yeah.
That one wasn't too scary, I didn't think.
It was only scary,
It was
like
slow.
Yeah, it was really slow, and there's only like a couple parts that were like kind of scary. Mm-hmm. I liked it though, but
The ending was funny. I was laughing when they were running through the houses.
yeah, and they're like chasing the lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty good. Yeah, my wife hates the ones with anything paranormal.
Really?
It scares her too much, and she won't do it. Actually, we just went to New Orleans in November.
Okay.
And we did like a haunted ghost.
I was gonna say
tour
that's one of
thing.
the most like haunted places in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The room we stayed, or the hotel we stayed in, was like super haunted one. I didn't see anything happen. Have you been there?
No, but I've heard of it. I'm actually going to Salem in June, so we're gonna go check out some places there. I know they've got the Hawthorne Hotel, and there's like obviously it was like the witch city,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's a lot of different stories coming from there.
I would love to go there one day. That would be cool.
Yeah,
New Orleans was sweet.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
It's like very like like horror and stuff, but then also like vampires. Like that's like the big vampire place too. The vampire story comes from. It's actually like pretty logical. So what happened was, it's all French there. So like people from France went there, kind of built the city and stuff, and all the guys like males went first, right, and built things, and then they wanted to like bring women and stuff like that. So people went back to France and like talked these women like, oh, this place is amazing, blah 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 blah. But it took like 3 months for them to get there back then.
Okay.
And they all showed up with like scurvy, and half of them were dead, and they were just like, they were all sick. So when they got off the boat, everybody was like, thought they were vampires. That's like kind of one story of it.
Okay. That's probably why it's so haunted too. If there was like that many people who died in the city, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does kind of make sense. Like all these people like that are on a boat for 3 months show up and like they're all sick. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So do you have a lot of things already coming up this year for like signings and shows and stuff like that?
I have a few. I usually book things out about a month or two in advance. So right now, I mean, I'm booked till the end of March. And then from there, I've got the Screaming Tunnel supposed to be out at some time around like May or June.
Okay.
So at that point, I'm trying to kind of keep that open so I can have a few like book launches around that area. But yeah, probably Hamilton, St. Catharines, and Niagara Falls.
Do you get proofs when you do your books? Like, do you get a physical one, read it through, and then...
Usually. I mean, it depends on if I'm totally like satisfied that, hey, no, it's good, then I'll just release it. But for most of them, I do get the proofs.
Do you, when you're putting these together, do you have to design them as well? Like text size, all that stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you use like Adobe InDesign for that, or?
No, usually, so I publish the original design, like the formatting and stuff through Amazon, which kind of helps like the layout of the cover page and all that stuff, and like makes it easier to build it. So I'll build the initial cover on there, and then from there to put it on the other platforms, I'll just kind of copy what I did on Amazon.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Do you ever run into like the text, like when it's printed, like being too far into like the bend or anything like that when you get a proof, or no?
I've never had that. You know what? The most that ever happened was River Bookshop. I had dropped off a big slew of books for them, and they emailed me that one of them, the print was all upside down on
Just
one of the
one?
books. Yeah, one book.
So that's the printer's fault, obviously.
Yes.
And not your designer fault.
That's what I mean. Like that's the only time I've ever had any issue with them. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah, that's funny. I guess, yeah, like whenever I do my books, I always do 100, but you only look through like one. So there could be something wrong.
Exactly. You're not going to go through every single one.
Yeah. I don't want to look at them ever again. let alone, to go through each one like that.
Yeah. Way too tedious at that point. I mean, like if I were to sell someone a book and there was something like that wrong, obviously I'm going to refund them. Just contact me. But other than that, I mean, yeah.
This is good. What do the books sell for?
So the Haunted Tales are $22 each.
Okay.
And then this one's $25.
Are they the same price everywhere, or are they?
Yeah, mostly. Okay. Except, I mean, Indigo, they're a little bit more expensive. But I mean, Amazon, through most bookstores, they're 22, and then that one's 25. Same price.
Yeah, like whenever you do the markets, that's always the price.
Right.
22, 25.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. How many books do you have that are like currently for sale right now?
How many different titles? 9.
9.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
What's your most recent one?
The last one I released was called The Cursed Rock. So it came out like, the last one was Sandwich Town, actually. Cursed Rock would have been one before that. But that book actually was based on a short story that my daughter wrote for school. So she was 11 years old. She wrote this short story, and it was really good. And her teacher knew that I wrote. So she kind of suggested to her, hey, you should get your mom to turn it into a book. So me and her kind of sat there and we worked together and we kind of like tweaked the story and made it longer. So it's children's, I would say like ages like 10 to 14. But it's a chapter book for kids. It's a suspense thriller.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And original story was hers. So
how long is that? Is it about the size of this book?
No, it's a lot shorter. It's, I think there's 10 chapters in it. It's probably about 2/3 of that size.
Okay. Nice. How many pages is this book here? Like the Two Tales books?
This one's around 125. That one I think is 153.
The sandwich one?
Yes.
The sandwich one's bigger.
A little bit longer.
But has less stories in it.
Yes, the stories are longer.
The stories are longer.
Yeah.
From this book, like what's one story that was interesting to you without giving too much away?
One of the stories that was the most interesting to me, just because it was something I had never heard of coming from West Windsor. I guess that there's like a gargoyle that they say that haunts the cemetery there. I can't remember the name. I almost want to say St. Joseph's, but I feel like that's wrong.
I don't know what it's called either. I can look it up.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's wrong, but it's right across from the jail there.
Yeah. That's a creepy cemetery.
Yeah. Oh my God. Have you tried to walk through there at night?
No.
It's terrible.
I do a lot of shoots in there.
Yeah.
Photo shoots.
I could imagine. It's
a good spot for that.
Yeah.
Is that? No. I'm going to keep looking it up, but you keep going.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a story that I guess a lot of the locals who live around there, they have heard of it, but there's a gargoyle apparently that haunts the grounds of the cemetery. And if you go there at nighttime, it's said that he comes out and he'll, follow you around because he doesn't want intruders kind of going in there after dark.
Okay.
One of the stories in there was a girl who had actually come face to face with it. Like she saw this thing and it followed her and that one kind of stuck with me honestly because the girl who was giving me the story, sometimes you can tell when you're talking to someone that hey, they 100% saw this or they 1,000% believe that they saw this. There's no doubt in my mind that what she was telling me was what she wholeheartly believed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what got me with that was she was just the way that she had told me this story and just because it was something I'd never heard of coming from Windsor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's it's called St. John's, by the way. So
St. John's, close. I was close.
You were close. I went through there and I was looking at all the dates are so old. There's one from not that long ago in there. One tombstone.
Okay.
That's semi-recent. It's been probably a year since I saw it and now I can't remember. But because they're all 100 years old.
Right.
And then there's one from a couple years ago.
Yeah, most of them I went through, you can't even see the markings. It's just a slab or there's something there, but you can't even read it.
Yeah.
I tried to walk through there actually right before the book was released. I was trying to see if, I could experience anything. I never did, but I mean, me and a friend were walking through and it got so dark at the one side and we started hearing noise, but honestly, there was so many skunks around there. I was I am not getting sprayed. That's why I ran. It wasn't a ghost, it was a skunk.
So are a lot of the stories in it revolved around the cemetery?
No, the cemetery, the jail, Mackenzie Hall, and then there's a lot of stories from the homes So even people who like lived on Peter Street or like the area surrounding,
Gotcha.
like some of these people are having like these Conjuring style like hauntings in their house. So that's one of the chapters in the book. That one's actually broken down a little bit different, whereas Texas Road is just a straight, like it's just stories of Texas Road. This one's got the buildings, like the establishments of Sandwich Town, and then you've got the streets of Sandwich Town and the homes. So there's 3 different chapters depending on like what it is that you want to read about.
Gotcha. That's cool. Because they used to hang people in the jail there, didn't they?
Yeah, outside in the yard, from what I am understanding.
Because I had the mayor on the podcast, and if I'm not mistaken, he said that when he was on here, that they used to do that. Is anything about that in the book, kind of?
Yes, a little bit. So I always go at the very beginning of the book. There's a little bit of history on the place, just so that way people know what they're reading about. And so that kind of explains, like, the last year of the hangings and stuff like that. And then there was one story in there that is, I don't want to say, it's not fictional. It's based on the inmate, I think it was the last inmate that was hung there. But it's a story based on, like, through his eyes, like, kind of what he saw when he was being hung. And then they said that he was the spirit that haunted the jail. Oh. So it's kind of like through an aspect of the killer's eyes and then through the person, one of the inmates who he was haunting. So I got this information from an old corrections officer who used to work at the jail. And he had kind of told me about these different stories about what had happened. So I basically took the information that he gave me and I wrote it into like this fictionalized, I want to say it's more dramatized, but it's from the information that I was given. So it's all based on like a true event, but not like taken straight from that person who experienced it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. That's really cool. How you kind of put all those together. Is it harder to make the books like this than when you're or is it vice versa? Like what's more difficult to write?
They're both about the same.
Yeah? Yeah,
I didn't find much of a difference. I mean, it's all about, kind of going around trying to get this information and these stories from people. So it all pretty much entails the same things.
Are you writing anything right now?
Just the Tales of the Screaming Tunnel, which I had mentioned. Yep. So that one will be out in the spring. I also did start a book a little while ago, which I'm trying to have finished this year. It is going to be a full-length novel, so I mean, it's taking me a little bit longer just because of the focus on the Haunted Tale series.
Fiction again, this one?
Yes.
Okay.
So it actually, I don't know if you noticed my one book that I have called Unspoken. So that was a book of 5 short stories. They're all romance-based, but they're dark romance.
Gotcha.
And so basically I had started writing a story in that book, and it turned into its own thing. So I started writing it and it was way too long. I was like, there's no way I'm getting all of what I'm trying to say out in a short story. So, it was kind of like born from that book, but now it's going to be its own thing. It's called Fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of working on that one, but you're mostly focused on the Tunnels one?
Yes.
Okay. And you said the Tunnels one you want to come out in like May, June?
Yes.
And then you think you'll go right into this novel after that?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on if there's another haunted location that kind of pulls me in right away. Because I mean, I'm a sucker for that. Like as soon as I hear something's haunted and all these people are experiencing stuff, like that's where I'm going to go. So, I mean, I'm trying to have it out probably by the end of 2026. I'm thinking.
Do you think maybe going to Salem will have you do one out there?
I was already thinking that. Yeah. My plan was like I'm going there for a vacation, right? But I'm probably going to go to the Hawthorne Hotel and try to interview some of the people who work there and stuff like that, and just like around the area, just so that way I have that. Because like then coming back here, you don't have to go there. It's not like I can just go there every Sunday. You know what I mean?
What is the kind of creepiness of the Niagara Falls one you're writing right now? Like what's the gist of it there? So
there's a tunnel, which actually, fun fact about it, they actually filmed Stephen King's Dead Zone in the tunnel, like a big part of the movie. And I guess like it's just a place, it's similar to Texas Road. So people like they'll walk through this tunnel and then they're hearing weird things and just weird stuff going on, shadows, just creepy stuff. But I guess like the lore on the tunnel is that there's a story that a little girl, it was either a little girl or a teenager. The story kind of changes depending on who you hear it from.
Okay.
But I guess she was on fire from a nearby house that had caught fire and ended up in the tunnel and passed away in there. That's one of the stories. Other people say she was brutally murdered by her own father in the tunnel. Different aspects of the story. Like it kind of changes, but it always involves a girl in the tunnel basically dying there.
Okay.
So basically the lore is if you go there at exactly midnight and you light a wooden match, the flame will blow out immediately and then you'll hear screams. So that's what they say. So a lot of people, like, they'll go there, kind of like Texas Road, where they, like, go there trying to see things. They'll go into the tunnel, they'll try this match trick, and then, you know, sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. So very, very similar to how Texas Road works.
Have you been there yet to visit it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you plan to go back, or do you think going there, like, you're already good?
Yeah, no, I actually already had a photo shoot scheduled, but I wasn't able to make it there, so I'll probably be going back at the end of this month. But yeah, I'll be going back probably a few times.
Are you going to take the pictures, or you have somebody doing it?
I had someone that was going to be doing it, but I mean, due to circumstances, I wasn't able to make it there. So that'll be rescheduled. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely be going back to the tunnel for sure.
That's cool. Are you going to go at midnight and try the match thing?
We did already. Nothing happened.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll probably try it again.
Yeah, I feel like you have to do it, right?
Exactly.
If you're gonna write the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's literally my rule is I have to go there and just see if anything happens. And I never go there with, like, you know, some people go there with, like, ghost equipment or, like, trying to, like, get things to come. I literally will, like, go for a walk through somewhere and just, like, hey, if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, you know. Besides
Salem, is there anywhere else that you'd like to visit one day?
Pretty much anywhere that's haunted and not Windsor, but I mean, Windsor's great and everything. I just mean, you know.
What are some big places that come to mind? What are some other big haunted places?
Specifically, I mean, there's Salem. There's a lot in Scotland, and, you know, I'd love to see, like, the Dracula Castle and stuff like that, but I feel like that's a lot later.
In Transylvania?
You know, I don't know exactly where it is, but it's, I know that maybe you can find it online. I can't remember exactly the location.
Let's see. Let's see what we can find. Oh, the internet. The Bronn Castle.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Cool. Yep. That's really cool. Is that probably, like, the inspiration for the novel?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
That's just kind of
just somewhere I'd like to go and see, you know.
Cool. That's awesome. Man, that's so cool. I'd love to go out there one day, see some castles.
Yeah.
I didn't know Scotland had a lot of stuff like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, like I have a book of, like, the most haunted places in the world, and, you know, you look through and there's certain things I never even heard of that there are. I mean, I'm open to literally traveling anywhere, though. Like, if I can travel anywhere that has, like, haunted stories, like, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. What are some of your overall goals as an author? Like, what do you want to see maybe in the next year, even in 2026, like by the end of 2026?
I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest. Like,
I can hear. So how many books do you want to put out in 2026? What's your goal?
My goal is 2,
at
least. Nice. I'm hoping for 2. But yeah, I mean, other than that is basically just to, like, get everything done that I already have going. So, like, my goal right now is to get the Screaming Tunnel finished, and then do the events up in Niagara Falls. Kind of try to get some you know, publicity happening on that book, and then probably take a little bit of time off before I finish the novel that I was working on as well. You
think that you'll spend a lot of time in Niagara Falls this spring and summer?
Yeah, it's looking like it.
That's all right, though.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you'll go there for Halloween instead of kind of hanging around here, or probably not?
I'll do both. Yeah. I'll do both. I'm almost positive of it. Like, it's not too far. I mean, it's a couple hours of a drive. So, like, being here one weekend and go there, like, I'm kind of, like, bouncing around the place.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anywhere, like, in terms of goals, is there anywhere that you would like to have your books, like, being sold, or, like, features or anything like that specifically?
I mean, as long as I can get the books into more bookstores, more, you know, further away. Like, I'm looking to have them in bookstores in London and possibly, like I said, St. Catharines, Niagara Falls. It's more about covering more area rather than more, like, stores specifically.
Yeah, I think doing a book about a certain area, then it'll be easier to get that book in that.
Exactly. Like Niagara Falls, right? You know, Indigo there, they may want the Screaming Tunnel, but they may not want Texas Road, you know?
Makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, it is definitely dependent on the specific locations.
Yeah, like when my 2 books ago, I did a photo book on Tofino, and, like, a bunch of places out there have it for sale. And it's about like surfing. So like a local surf shop has it. A couple surf places had it for sale, stuff like that. I guess it's like easier to do when it's like
exactly. Yeah, if it's something that's, really sought after in that area, because I mean, I'm writing about their local place. It's like it's a place there where everyone in that area, they've heard of it, they know about it. It's very similar to Texas Road, where everyone here has heard about it, and they're aware of the story, so they're really interested in reading it.
Yeah.
So I find I guess that's just
The nice thing about books like that, I guess it's like a good thing and a bad thing. Like they're probably really easy sells around here, but then not so much elsewhere. Like people buy it here because they know it. It doesn't matter so much if they're into like that style, but like elsewhere people are going to buy it just because they're into like thrillers and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I was surprised when I went to Word on the Street in Toronto back in August. So I only had, I don't even think Tales of Sandwich Town was out at the time. I think it was just Tales of Texas Road. And I actually sold a lot of copies of that in Toronto, which surprised me because I went there and I was like, no one's going to buy it here because they're not going to know what it is. But so many people were interested because they're like, wait, it's true ghost stories? Like it's a real place? I want to hear about this. So, I mean, it is very intriguing. And then, certain people, like let's say you go to Niagara Falls and someone wants the Streamy Tunnel, they may want the other two just because it's part of that series, and then they can learn about these other haunted places. Especially, like you said, if it's someone who's interested in spooky locations, they may want like the set.
For the book you're writing now, the Niagara Falls one, the tunnels, have you finished talking to everybody you need to talk to, or are you still talking to people and getting stories?
I'm still looking for a few. So I probably have enough to finish the book and make it it'll probably be just around the same length as Texas Road. But if I can get a few extra stories, I'd like to make it a few pages longer. So I mean, again, I am still accepting the submissions, but I probably am good where I'm at.
So you said you had 38 stories in that one.
Yes.
How many stories did you actually like hear and record and have an interview for did you cut any?
From that book? No. I tend not to cut the stories because I'm like, even if someone tells me a story and I don't think it's 100% believable or not, who am I to say that you're lying or you're making that up? You know what I mean? So yeah. I take everyone at their word. If they're saying this is what happened to me, like granted, there's a possibility that there's a couple stories in there that maybe aren't true. But again, who am I to say that they're not,
Yeah, that's the kind of the point of the book, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tend to include any stories. I mean, unless they're just not like if someone tells me, I've had a couple, I guess, where it's like I went through there and my phone stopped working, and that's the story. It's like, what are you gonna put for that, right? So I mean, certain things like that, it'll be like, hey, all right, maybe next time, but.
So it sounds like for moving forward, especially this year, your goals is like this series and novels. Do you think that maybe after that, it sounds like you want to keep doing more of these, right?
Yes.
Even at like number 4.
Yes, I'm looking to literally make that a huge collection. Like my goal is to travel all around North America. I'm starting in Ontario, obviously, but I'm looking to just travel around pretty much anywhere and write about any of the haunted locations I can find. Mainly places where people it would have to be somewhere where people are still experiencing haunted things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now that you're doing another novel, do you think that you'll still continue to do the books that have like 4 or 5 short stories in them, or do you think maybe you'll stick with?
I may. Yeah. It just depends on it depends on what ideas come to me. I find I don't sit there and try to be like, okay, what do I want to write about? It's more like they come to me. Like I'll just, certain things will trigger, hey, I got to write about that. Like, for example, my first book, it was actually based on a dream that I had when I was 16 years old. And it was apocalyptic, right? So it was about the end of the world. And I wrote it down a couple days later. And that was actually my first published book. So it was based on a dream. So, I mean.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, maybe does it kind of work out where you have an idea and then you start writing about this thing and then, sometimes, like you said, it works great for 40 or 50 pages, but then sometimes it's ooh, that's gonna keep going and it just becomes a novel.
The only time that happened really was with Fish, the one I'm working with now. I mean, there was a couple things where I feel like I had started writing and then I just was like, hey, this isn't going to work. I'm not writing this. Like, I started writing one story right after Into the Nothing, like years ago, and it was about like Stockholm syndrome, girl gets kidnapped, whatever. And then I was like, I'm halfway through it. I'm like, I don't know where I'm even going with this. Like, I totally ended up changing the story from what it was supposed to be. I'm like, I don't like it anymore. Scrap it.
Yeah, like how often do you do that? And how far in do you get when you scrap them?
So I mean, I've only done that like once or twice. And with that, I mean, I think the first one I got like at least 5 chapters into it. I mean, so it was like it was a good story until it's like writer's block. And then you just don't even know really what you were intending on even writing in the first place. I find that happens more when you don't already know, like beginning, middle, and end. That's one of the main things. Like sometimes they'll just write starting from the beginning, just okay, whatever happens. That's when I find it doesn't work out.
So you don't do that?
No.
So when you write this book here, you already knew the end when you started writing it?
I changed it like 3 times, but I kind of knew roughly where it was going. So I knew how it was going to start. I knew where the middle was taking it. And then the end was like, it was originally supposed to be something else, but the new ending, it had so much more like bam to it.
Yeah, because you were kind of just flowing and you knew more about the story.
Right.
All the twists, like let's say there's like 10 big twists. You don't know all those at the start though. Like did those kind of come as you're writing?
Sometimes, yeah. Like sometimes I'll be writing and it's like you're on a chapter and it's like, you know that you need to get the story from point A to point B, and then it's like sometimes you'll be writing like, hey, wait, I can fit this big thing right here and it'll still work. So as long as it doesn't change the storyline or the structure of it, then I mean, yeah, like there were certain things in that book that I had just kind of popped in that I wasn't expecting to be there in the first place. Yeah.
I just read a book. It was, it's called The Surf House. It's kind of like it's like a mystery. I would say it's like a mystery, kind of it's not really a thriller. Anyway, the way it works out is like the one character that is supposed to be like the main character's like closest person in the book ends up at the end like being the bad guy. Do you think that author always knew that was going to happen?
That I would have to say probably.
Okay.
That is, I don't want to give anything away.
Or I guess whenever you're writing your books, I guess you don't want to give anything away from your books. But I'll ask the question so you don't have to give anything away.
Okay.
Do you know, like, if you have 4 like kind of mainish characters in a book, you kind of like at the start you know who's going to be a killer at the end or a bad guy at the end kind of thing?
Yes and no. I mean, the one thing that kind of kept changing in this book was like, I didn't know which characters I was for sure going to kill off. You know, things like that where it's like, okay, are they going to die or are they just going to go missing and come back? Like what's going to happen? You know, stuff like that. So there were certain things like that I kind of decided while writing it. Mostly when I start to write a book, I literally just pick like beginning, middle, and then like I said, the end. But with that one, it did change. But usually it's just like, I won't write out like every specific thing that happens in between that. I kind of go with it to get it to where it's got to be.
I got you.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I guess one of my last questions. So yeah, you're into horror movies and stuff like that. Are you ever into like murder docs, like documentaries or?
Yes.
Okay.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I love them too. We watch them a lot. What are some of your, like, are there any off the top of your head that you are a big fan of?
Well, like Forensic Files, I mean, I watched all of that. Pretty much like, you know, like the Netflix originals that come on, like every month or so, they put on a new one. Like I've pretty much seen every one of those seasons. Yeah, just pretty much anything. I just watched one today about that. It's on Prime.
Okay.
What was it called? I can't remember the name of it, but it was about like the guy who like charmed the girls into whatever, and then he would kill them. But yeah.
I just watched one that's like number 1 on Netflix right now. It's the most messed up one I've ever seen of anything. It's about the guy that kidnapped the girl from her bed when she was like 14.
I heard about that, and honestly, a lot of people on Facebook were like, I couldn't watch it, and I don't know. Like I read a lot of the comments about it, and I was like, it sounds like something like I just don't know if I could stomach that right now. You know what I mean? I have to be like totally non-emotion to watch something like that sometimes when it's that bad.
And it's real.
Yeah. And like I have daughters, right? So it's one of those things that like when it involves children, sometimes to me that's just, it's too much.
I watched it with my little sisters who are like 16 and they were freaking out. They just like stopped watching it. We watched it at my mom's house. We went over and we're like, oh, let's watch something. Oh, this is number one. And we put it on. And I was like, maybe you guys don't want to watch this one. But we ended up watching it. It was like, out of all the like murder docs and everything I've watched, it was the worst one I've ever seen for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you mean like bad as in like the story itself?
Yeah, like sorry, not bad as in it was bad.
Okay.
It was done it was done well.
Okay.
Bad as in the story, like what happened, like everything else, like this was like the worst thing I've ever seen in like a doc that I've watched.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe don't watch it if you're not in the mood.
I was gonna say I might have to skip that one.
Yeah, that's one that like usually I never watch them again, but I would never watch that one again. Like I don't want to think about that one anymore.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that probably sticks with you. Like that's what I was hearing from, like I said, the comments, like people who would watch it, they're like, I can't get it out of my head, you know. It's one of the worst things I've ever heard, and it's like
yeah, and I've seen some crazy. My favorite one on there is Worst Roommate Ever. If you've ever seen,
I watched that one. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was good. Yeah,
and those ones aren't like terrible.
Yeah,
not like the one that I just saw.
Yeah, no. Like I said, to me, it's when it involves children. Like I can watch anything. I can watch 100 people get butchered or hear about it, but like when it involves a child, it's too much for me. It's too much.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, what I just said, like it's not too like it didn't like I don't remember any that involved like kids or anything like that. It was usually just like somebody being crazy or that crazy old lady that was like killing people that was living with her.
Oh, yeah. No, those were some crazy stories for sure, and like things you didn't expect.
Yeah. And they're nuts and they're obviously sad too, but like it's such a different level when it's like the other ones like we were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you find that you watch more like horror movies or docs for inspiration, I guess?
Probably horror movies. Well, like we said, like paranormal, like I really like thrillers more than like full-blown horror.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, that's usually what I'll watch. Or like I said, I'll read like books and stuff that sometimes give me like not necessarily ideas, but they give me the inspiration to write.
What's the scariest movie in your opinion? Like scariest horror thriller movie?
They don't scare me. That's the problem. I'd have to say like the Conjuring series.
That's
the Conjuring series
says.
Is pretty good.
Is it
like,
really that scary?
It's pretty spooky. I mean, like I wouldn't watch it alone in the dark, but I mean, yeah, those are probably the top.
You're like multiple people, because like I'm not super into horror movies or scary movies like that, and I've never seen them, and every time I ask people that are really into it, they always say The Conjuring. It's
probably because it's partially based on a true story too, and then I mean you're seeing this stuff and it's like whoa, especially if you believe in like, I mean some people don't believe in it, but if you believe in like demons and like stuff like that, it just adds like this extra creepy factor to it.
Great. I gotta watch it, but the thing is, my wife doesn't like to watch them, and I don't want to watch it alone.
Yeah, you probably don't want to watch those ones alone, especially for the first time.
I watched that one we were just talking about earlier, around Halloween, when the kid chews on the knife and the blind girl, and I watched that alone, and I was like, I'm not watching these things alone anymore.
Yeah, I feel like alone that one might have been a bit much. Like I watched it in theaters with a friend, and I mean, for me, when you're in theaters, it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Evil Dead Rise, the first time I watched that movie, it was probably in my like top scariest movies I had seen at the time.
How old is that movie, do you think?
It's only out like 2 years ago.
Okay, so it's pretty new.
I mean, yeah, and that was the first time I watched it again recently, and I was like, this isn't even scary. Why was I scared the first time?
That's funny. This was great. I love everything we talked about. We talked about everything I wanted to ask. Is there anything specific that you like want to say or mention, or where can people follow you?
Yeah, I just one thing that I'd want to mention. So Tales of Texas Road, I don't know if you've heard it. It is a TV show. So it's on Bell 5 TV. There's 6 different episodes. They're from specific stories in the book. Basically, we went and interviewed people And then did like, there's like reenactments of like what they saw and experienced. So you can watch that on Bell 5 TV.
Yeah, I've seen that. Who made it and did all that?
I directed it. I'm the co-producer, and then Riggy Media International was the company that I worked with. He was the co-producer, and they did, the camera, the DIT, all that stuff.
Is everything already out? You can see everything you did?
Yes. Yep. It's already available. If you search it up on Bell, it's on there right now. Eventually, it'll probably be available in more locations. But for now, Bell is the only place you can watch it.
When did all those come out?
They ended up releasing it in December. It was originally supposed to come out in April, I believe, but they released it early just because I think because it was done early, maybe they had, nothing else to release at the time. So, I mean, it was an early release, earlier than expected.
How long are the episodes?
They're 15 minutes each, and there's 6 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're based off just stories from the book?
Yes.
And you said you're interviewing somebody in it?
Yeah, so it's like if you've ever seen like Haunted on Netflix or anything like that, really just any like documentary where you've got like the person sitting in the chair and they're telling the story, and then it's showing like their reenactments kind of in the background.
Cool.
So that's kind of what gives it like the spook factor, and it's like, it's about somewhere local. So it's.
Did you have like actors for it and stuff like that to do
Yes.
like those things?
Yep.
Were you in it?
I'm the host in the show, so
no.
I kind of like, I like introduce the episode, like I'll come on screen and like this is what you're gonna watch, and then I kind of come on at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to check that out. And then that's on Bell 5.
Bell 5 TV1, yeah. So if anyone who, it's like a Bell streaming service. So if you have Bell Internet, usually you have it automatically.
Gotcha.
But yeah, other than that, I don't know if there's a way to stream it like through online or not, but I know through the TV on Bell you can.
Okay, sweet. That was great. I always ask people that question and never have anything. So do you, is there any other big things that apparently I missed?
No, I think that was probably the main thing. I think we pretty much covered it all.
Where can people, what is you, tell everybody like what your name is on Instagram and what your account is on Amazon.
Okay, so Amazon, it's author K.G Miceli. It's the same on Facebook, so if you just search that up, you'll be able to find me. And then Instagram's the same thing. It's just k.g.miceli. Pretty much search up my name on any social media platform, and I'll come up.
Okay, and your last name is spelled Miceli.
Yes.
Great. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Okay.
It was nice to meet you.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're
It's
welcome.
been great.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks. How long was that?
An hour.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was great.